Okay, we're cruising through with AC Variety right here at the World of Worlds 2026, and just this Roadster totally caught my eye. We caught up with Jimmy?
Yes, Jimmy B.
Okay, Jimmy B. I'm a Jimmy too, so it's all good. And I walked by this car, came back, looked at it again, walked on, and finally I came up to him and said, I got to talk to you. So just run it through the motivation of this build, and then why you selected some of the things in the drivetrain, the body finish. Just take it away. And
Really, I've had a number of cars over the years that I built, different hot rods, even muscle cars and stuff like that. And this is a car, I love a 32 Ford.
Got it.
I've had them before, and I wanted to build a Roadster, but the type of Roadster I wanted to build, and I built it in my head many times, is picture a guy, young guy, he lives in Southern California in the LA area. He's got a driver that he drives back and forth to work, Roadster, cheap, easy to get, but he races it on the weekend. So it's his everyday car, but it's his weekend fun car, racing car. So when you race, you got to have horsepower. So what better than a 32 Ford? You put in a 392 Hemi. It's a real deal 392 Hemi that came out of a 1958 Imperial originally. I didn't pull the motor out of the car. I bought the motor from another guy.
Okay.
Reworked the motor.
Yeah, I was going to say, how was the bottom half?
The motor was in good shape because it was a stock motor, but we did some things. We put 11-to-1 pistons in it. We put a bigger cam in it to eat up some of the compression. It still runs on 92 octane gas.
Okay.
I can drive it. It's got about 400 miles on it. We finished it up last year. Drove it around where I live in Tennessee.
Got it.
Actually, we took it to a big hot rod show in Oklahoma in Bartlesville called the Gathering at the Rock. And we did the reliability run, which was a 92-mile run day before the show. And it performed great. I mean, car ran great, you know. It's still a hot rod. It's got
every sense of the word.
It's got traditional straight axle, drop straight axle in the front. In the back, we've got a 9-inch Ford rear end on semi-elliptical springs, what they call quarter elliptical leaf springs in the back. But it's very much traditional. But in a way of doing it, the interior is Spartan, I guess the word would be, because you know when you're racing, you don't necessarily need leather, cloth, or anything else. So the seat looks like it's old because we use the distressed leather type of material.
Got it. And it works.
It does. And then did the aluminum with some copper overlay because we use the copper color on the outside of the car. It is an automatic. I would have loved to put a 5-speed in there, but there's not a lot of room for my feet in the area. So,
got it. What's the rear end?
The rear end is a 9-inch Ford with a set of 350 gears in the back.
Okay.
So we've got in the front, we've got, I call them the fake Buick drums. There's actually disc brakes inside those Buick drums. We got real drum brakes in the back.
Because that looks so old school.
It is. That's exactly what it is. It's South Cal Speed Shop brake kit that we used on it.
Speaking of old school, I have to compliment you on your choice of mag wheels. Bring it back nostalgically.
Yes.
The rubber on the car front and back just reeks of 50s hot rod.
It does. I try to keep it all with the look. Use the they're actually Diamondback brand tires, the Auburn line. They look like a bias-ply tire, but that's actually a radial tire.
So you're just blowing me away with all this hidden stuff.
So it steers.
It doesn't even look like a radial profile.
It is a radial tire.
Wow.
And it steers, rides great. The back tires are made by Towel City Tire out of North Carolina. Pie crust cheater slicks to have the proper look, but those tires are made on a radial casing. You know, so they ride good. They're stiff, but they ride well. You know, and it drives well. Now in the rain, those tires aren't worth anything.
Oh yeah,
but dry roads
aren't going to
right. You'll be floating up on the water, if you will.
But just again, I'm looking at attention to detail to bring it back nostalgically. The amber fog light.
Yes.
But yet, obviously, you've upgraded the headlights.
The headlights are aftermarket headlights. They call them.
But they look the part though.
They're patterned after a late 30s type headlight.
Right.
They actually call them peepers because they have the turn signals on top.
Okay.
So I didn't want to put a turn signal on the side of the grill shell or on the frame. They have it like a blister.
Yeah.
And this was a slick way of doing it, using those. And
that's
it fits,
perfect for the setup. The fact that there's no fenders on this and everything. That's,
yeah.
You know what?
Well, it's it's a Roadster. It's it's a high boy. No fenders, because that was just weight when they were racing, so you didn't want the fenders. So use the window. The window's made by a gentleman by the name of Dick Rodwell. They call it a Rodwell window. It's actually a takeoff of a wandless window. Stanley Wandless developed it back in, I believe it was the 30s. But the windshield lays back at a 37-degree angle.
Pitch, yeah.
But it's also, if you look at it, it actually has a curve in it. It's not flat glass. And it's amazing because I can drive down the road. I sit down in the car, but I can wear a ball cap at 70 miles an hour because the air is going around and over. So,
got to ask before I walk away too. I see the nice hinges on the door, but how does the door operate?
There's actually a lever inside, the original lever, because this body style, the Roadster body style from Henry Ford in 1932, was the cheapest.
Yeah, that
basic
was your opening price point there.
There's a hand lever inside, so you just open the door.
Got it.
So.
Okay. I never walked to the back of the car. I don't know what you did for the taillights. So.
The taillights are 50 Pontiac taillights, which is a traditional way of going with it and stuff. Okay. There's a neat trick in the back on the gas tank.
Let me walk this way so we can get them on camera.
I actually put a louver panel in the gas tank, because I louvered the hood. And the louvers in the hood are unique because those are handmade on a Pullmax, because they're 3 inches in the front, 7.5 inches in the back. They taper back on the hood and stuff. And then, like I say, on the gas tank,
that graduated just makes it look great.
Yes, it's
also the pinstriping on the louvers.
It just accents it enough.
Touches that are just like knock it out,
But like I say, the louvers on the gas tank are kind of unique. Some guys do them. I'm not the only one. I'm not the first one. But it's just a nice touch, and that's actually welded on top of the gas tank. Some people say, "Why did you louver your gas tank?" Well, you can't.
It's ventilation.
Yes. So one of the neat things of the car is the interior. Inside the interior, I actually use a Speed Ludwig, because Ludwig Drums is based in Chicago, but it's a Ludwig Speed King drum pedal, bass drum pedal, converted it to a gas pedal in the car.
I got to take a look at it, because I used to play drum. I never could afford a pair of Ludwigs though. But you're right, that's a speed pedal.
Yep, it is a speed pedal, and I use the old 50 style microphone for the gear shift knob.
Dude, clever, brilliant rock and roll touch in there.
Yeah, and the copper over the aluminum, try to give it kind of an industrial, some people say kind of aircraft look, but it's functional. It's all functional.
The other thing I just got to mention is the nostalgic. You keep enough of the dash that makes it nostalgic. The brake pedal. Nostalgic.
Yes.
Exactly. You know what I mean? In other words, you could have upgraded that.
No, it's like what they had in 32. It's the steering column support in the center, which you see the black piece with the key in it. That's actually a 1932 column drop. Okay. And then I adapted the steering column to fit that column drop.
And I got to admit, the chrome bullet tachometer mounted underneath the dash, that is so old racing.
Yes. Yep. There's no room on the dash.
And you wouldn't want to do anything else.
You can't do it on the column. There wasn't any room, so it just made sense to put it right there, and it's all visual because I've got the gauges all centered and stuff. So.
Yeah. Anyhow, thank you, Jimmy, so much for. I pulled you out of your chair there. And,
it's all good.
But it's all good. And then one quick thing before I walk away: is that exhaust as loud as it looks?
No, it isn't, because if you look. Here are the 4 pipes that are the exhaust.
Right.
It's a lake pipe system. They call it lake pipes.
Well, yeah, that's old.
But I added the 5th pipe, and that 5th pipe takes the exhaust underneath the car, through mufflers, out the back. Okay. Now, what looks like a turnout is actually the block-off plate.
Okay, so
if I wanted to take the nuts off, I could actually take that off and have the exhaust just, if I was out racing. But
great illusion here.
Other than that, it all runs underneath the car. It's still got a heck of a rumble to it. With the motor, but it's livable and tolerable. You can still have a conversation in the car while you're driving down the road.
All right, Jimmy, I'm going to grab a hand.
Okay.
Thank you so much for taking the time with us and letting us see. We're double glad. Thank you. Have a great show.
Okay, thank you.